Welcome to the April 15th, 2024 study session of Livonia City Council. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Honorable Councilwoman Carrie Budzinski. Thank you, Ms. Budzinski. Good evening, everyone. This meeting sets the agenda for the 1992nd regular meeting, which is a voting meeting that will take place on Monday, May 6th, where tonight's items will be officially voted on. I'm going to note that we are missing Councilman Jolly, Councilman Morgan, and Councilwoman Toy. With that, I'm going to jump right into audience communication. These are items that are not on the agenda, and we've set aside 30 minutes. If you would like to speak, you can come up to the podium. I am seeing none. I'm going to move on. Council, do we have any communication? Councilwoman Budzinski?
Well, I'd just like to take the opportunity to wish our colleague here, Councilwoman Tashnik, a very happy birthday this weekend.
21st birthday.
Yeah.
So, be safe out there.
Let's do it. Let's be loud. It's fine. I'm not even going to hit the gavel.
So I just want to say happy birthday, and we hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday. You know, it kind of snuck out on the regular, so I have to apologize, but usually we do embarrass.
Birthday cake like she was supposed to.
I know. You know what? It's technically not till Saturday, so there's time to make up for it. So,
Oh, Wednesday.
We still have a meeting
We're
Wednesday.
going to see each other. I'll note
There
to
we go.
self.
any other comments from council? See none. All right. I'm going to move on to the study agenda. We're going to jump right into number 1, which is a block party request. This comes to us from Denise Justice to be held on Saturday, August 3rd, 2024, from 1 to 10 p.m. on Washington Street between Hubbard and Indiana. Ms. Justice, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Tell us a little about what you got going on.
So just the neighbors, and we all decided that it would be fun to resurrect our block party, and we're going to have games and contests and probably a bounce house, and we're going to see if the fire department can bring their fire truck over if they're available.
The chief is back there. He's right there. He's the one
It's
that's trying
always
to
a
hide.
big hit at the block party, so yeah, that would be amazing. And then just, having a barbecue and just,
That
really
sounds like a
get to
blast.
reconnect with the neighbors. And we've had a lot of new families come in with younger kids, and I think it would be great for them to develop some better relationships.
Absolutely. When's the last time you guys had it?
Oh, man.
It's fine. If it's been a while, no, I'm happy you guys are doing it. It's great.
Yeah.
No, thanks for anytime we could do it, and we're starting to obviously get out of the COVID years, so well done. Council?
Yeah, this is my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Councilman
by.
Jolly is not here, but he would always give a plug to the neighborhood community grant that you could take advantage of. So anybody out there, neighborhood community grant, the vice president, bring it up. It's an application for grant applications that you could use towards stuff like that and entrances to neighborhoods. So for future reference as the many years as you continue this as well.
Information's right on the website.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great.
Well, Council, do we have a motion?
I'll motion to put it on the consent agenda.
We have an approving on consent, which means that the item will be voted on formally on May 6th. It's all but assured to be passed. If you would like to come and hang out with us on May 6th, you can, but you don't have to.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Have a great time. I'm going to go to item number 2, which is a request to barricade city streets. This comes to us from Chris Inch from Stevenson Cross Country head coach. This is to take place on Friday, August 23rd, 2024, from noon through Saturday, August 24th, 12 a.m., with a rain date of August 24th on Perth Street from Stark Road until it dead ends west of Farmington. Mr. Inch, good evening. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Hi, I'm Mark Lozan, so I work with Chris and the volunteer for Lamplighter. So it's a Lamplighter Invitational. It's a high school cross-country meet. This will be our 4th year, and every year it's growing in size. So last year we had 50 teams and about 1,500 runners from all over Southeast Michigan. So this year we expect about the same number of teams and spectators, about 3,000 total participants and spectators in general.
That's great. You guys have been doing this year after year
Yep,
after
it's
year.
4th year.
No, it's great. Continuing up the great thing for the community. Any way we can help out, let us know. Council, do we have any direction? Vice President?
I'd be happy to offer an approving on consent.
You have an
It's a
approving
great
on
matter.
consent. Anything further from council? Anything from the audience? Seeing none? Again,
Great.
easy cheesy. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
No problem.
Again, your item's on consent, so it's all but assured.
And you're welcome to attend August 23rd.
Absolutely. Let us know if you need anything from the city on that, but thanks for doing what you do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
gentlemen.
President,
Oh, Councilman Donovan.
you forgot to tell the petitioners there's actually a mandate that you have to allow Churchill Chargers to win.
We got to get him to the meet first.
Well,
No,
put
we've
that
been
over
trying.
here.
We've been trying. So for some reason, they haven't been attending. We'd love to have them.
I think usually they're too busy preparing for the Olympics. and
Yes,
what it is,
that's
yeah,
what I
so.
heard.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
gentlemen. All right, we're going to move on to item number 3, which is a reappointment of Stephanie Blatt to the PRDA, which is the Plymouth Road Development Authority. This comes to us from the Office of the Mayor for a 3-year term, which will expire on May 16th, 2027. Mr. Tormina?
Thank you, Mr. President. Unfortunately, Stephanie cannot be here this evening, but I believe since the inception of the Plymouth Road Development Authority, we have had a representative of Consumers Energy on the board. Stephanie is the current Community Affairs Manager for Consumers. I believe this is at least her 3rd term on the PRDA, so we are requesting that she be reappointed.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Tormina. Council, do I have direction? Well, there's no one on that side, so it's got to be this.
I'll make a motion to put it on consent. If there's no objections from my colleagues.
So we have an approval on consent. Any questions or comments for the audience on this item? Seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 4, which is a redevelopment of Omar Ferris to the Plymouth Road Development Authority, again from the Office of Mayor for a 3-year term to expire on May 16th, 2027. Mr. Tumia.
Thank you. Mr. Ferris is the past chair of the Plymouth Road Development Authority. He is here this evening. He is the owner of Custom Stoneworks, which has a significant presence along the corridor. And so with that, Mr. President, again, we are requesting his reappointment to the PRDA, or the Plymouth Road Development Authority.
Thank you. Mr. Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Ferris, thank you for your continued service to the city of Livonia. I know you own a business in Livonia right there on Plymouth Road, so you have a really great perspective of the Plymouth Road corridor and what needs to be done there. You also have been the chairman for many, many years, and it sounds like you're going to hand over those reins to somebody else, and looking forward to your continued service.
Hi, Dan is here today. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to serve the community. The nature of my business, I see a lot of construction in all different cities. And whenever anybody tells me they live in Livonia, they don't quite understand how well the city is run. Glad I could help.
And we thank you
so
for your
much.
service, too.
I'd
Thank
like
you.
to offer an approving on consent if there's no objection from my colleagues.
We have an approving on consent. Anything further from council? Seeing none. Anything from the audience? Well, it looks like we've got you till 2027. We want many more after that. No,
Thank
thank
you.
you for everything you do,
Anytime.
honestly.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You do the same. Moving on to item number 5, which is a reappointment of Patrick Mees to the Plymouth Road Development Authority from the Office of Mayor for a 3-year term to expire on May 16th, 2027. Mr. Tormina.
I believe Patrick is here this evening.
He
Patrick is our resident member, board member on the PRDA, and his family is well-known in the area. I believe he's a resident of Rosedale Gardens. So, Patrick?
Yes.
And there's a park that's there, too, I think, that has a similar name.
Yeah, very similar name. Yeah.
Council, do I have any direction? Vice President?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Mees has been an active participant of the PRDA and also a fellow Old Rosedale member, right? So we're thrilled to have him here tonight, and I'd be happy to offer an approving on consent.
You have an approving on consent. Is there anything further from council? Seeing none. Anything from the audience? Seeing none. Again, we've got you till 2027. We hope that is another term after that for another 20 or 30 years. We
Thank
won't
you
hold
so-
you to it.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for joining
It's
us.
an honor to
tonight.
serve. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 6 was a reappointment of Daniel Leibel to the Plymouth Road Redevelopment Authority from the Office of the Mayor for a 3-year term expiring on May 16th, 2027. Good evening, Mr. Tormina.
representing probably one of the largest landowners along Plymouth Road and taxpayers, is Dan Liable, CFO of NYX Corporation.
Good evening, it's great to see you. Do you
evening.
have any good words for the millions of viewers at home?
Well, thank you very much for your support. And,
Yes.
NYX does employ over 2,000 employees in the city of Livonia. And we take corporate citizenship very seriously, and any opportunity we have to give back to the community and to serve. And we're here to help. And I've enjoyed my time. Looking forward to my chairmanship on this particular board, and look forward to continue to protect the city's assets and look to beautify the corridor and do what we can to make it the best looking place that we can.
Thank you. Council?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for your continued service. You guys have done a lot in different aspects across our community. And like Mr. Tormina mentioned, you being a phenomenal representative of NYX and so many locations throughout the community on Plymouth Road, I think it's a great victory for our city to have you on there. Unfortunately, you're not the best basketball player in the world, but you will be a great chairman on the PRDA, and looking forward to seeing you serve and help that corridor. I'd like to offer an approving on consent. There's no objection from my
Absolutely,
colleagues.
I'm just uncomfortable right now, but that's fine. You have an approving on consent. Thank you for everything you do for the community. It's incredible, especially from the philanthropy from NYX, so anything we could do to help you. But
Thank you for your support.
we want another 20 years after that as well.
Okay, see what I can do.
Any comments from the audience on Mr. Lible? Seeing none. All right, we're going to move on to item number 7, which is a request to extend contract with Ali Brothers. This comes to us from the fire department for a period of 2 years with a 4% increase in order to supply the Livonia Fire Department uniforms from budgeted funds. Chief, the floor is yours. Good evening.
Good evening, President, council members. The fire department is requesting to extend the contract with Ali Brothers Uniform for an additional 2 years. Our 3-year contract is up. The last time they were awarded the contract, they were actually the only vendor that could supply the uniforms that we need. Obviously, them being in the city is very convenient to us. They've agreed to extend the contract for 2 years with a 4% increase, just like they did with the police department a couple of months ago.
Awesome. Thanks,
So
Chief.
requesting permission to go ahead and extend that contract for 2 years.
Before I go to council, I just got to give a quick shout out. Ali Brothers is, not only a business in the community, they help out in every event that we have, whether it's golf outings, the symphony orchestra, the police and fire. They're just a great steward of the community, and just giving them a plug. I know to continue the extent of the contract in this economy, especially even if 5% is minuscule, I'm sure. So, council, Vice President.
Thank you. I was going to echo with Ali Brothers. They're a great community partner, and I'm pleased that you're willing to continue doing business with them. And of course, our LFD deserves to look good as well, and they do a good job making them look good. So I'll offer an approving on consent.
Thank you.
You have an approving on consent. Anything further from council? Anything from the audience? Seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 8, which is a request for authorization to purchase 1 Lifeline Type 1 Superliner ambulance. Again, this is from our fire department. This is to replace an ambulance in the vehicle replacement program. Chief?
So our vehicle replacement program, we look at replacing a squad about every year now. This will be our 5th Superliner ambulance that we've purchased through the consortium bid through the Houston-Galveston area and as the supplier R&R Fire Truck in Northville. Unfortunately, the wait time for these are, no matter who we go with, is going to be about 2 to 3 years. We actually ordered the chassis for this once the budget was approved last year, and we may not see the delivery of this for upwards of 3 years. So to tell you what would be replaced, what would be sold, what would be moved, would be a moot point at this time. But when it does come, hopefully before I retire, we'll make those decisions then.
Yeah, just as the Vice President said, you can't retire, so that's fine. Council? Vice President?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't think the residents realize you can't just go to the Ford dealer and pick up an ambulance. So this is quite a process, and absolutely, we know runs are up in our city, and this is a much-needed purchase. So I'll offer an approving on consent.
Thank you. Council? Audience? Move on to item number 9, which is a request to waive the formal bidding process and authorize the purchase of 1 Paratech Heavy Stabilization and Lift Strut Kit. This comes to us from Fire to enhance the emergency response capabilities. Chief?
So we're requesting to purchase a Paratech Interstate Stabilization and Shoring and Hydraulic Strut Kit. These are basically the ability for us to hold vehicles, planes, trains, automobiles that are in accidents, plus we can extend that to holding up buildings if a car went through the front of a storefront, which happens often, or into a house. They can also be used for trench rescue. They match what our Rescue Task Force uses at the state of Michigan and at the county level. And with the new vehicles that we're running into now, just the H2 Hummer Electric is more weight than we can support with what we currently have, let alone the buses, the semis, anything that's going up and down our highways. So we're requesting permission to make this purchase of Paratech struts from McQueen Emergency. They are the sole distributor in the state of Michigan from budgeted funds.
Thanks, Chief. Council,
Mr. President,
floor is yours.
thanks, Mr. President. Thanks, Chief, for being here this evening. A few years ago, maybe it was last year, we did a day with firefighters as council members, and it was really impressive to see all the different tools that your department has. We were cutting doors off, we were lifting dummies into the back of the ambulance on a machine. I mean, I can go on and on about the different tools that you guys utilize to keep residents safe in these really traumatic situations. I do know that there is a special task force, maybe a special unit that you have that would deploy these kind of specialized equipment for really dire situations. What's the name of that
So we
unit?
have the Western Wayne Urban Search and Rescue Task Force that is comprised of all of the communities in Western Wayne County. But their ability to be on scene in less than an hour is rare. So this would get us through that first hour of being able to stabilize an incident if we needed to call the Urban Search and Rescue Team from Western Wayne County. Beyond that, we also have members that are on Michigan Task Force 1, which is our FEMA team that is run out of the governor's office and the Michigan State Police.
That's awesome. It's really impressive what you guys do. And again, just the kind of equipment that you guys are able to deploy so fast. And as you know, seconds, minutes can make a difference in the situations your guys deal with. So I'd love to offer an approving consent. There's no objection from my colleagues.
Thank you, Councilman Donovic. I do want to say, Chief, on a different item, you know, we do have a new council. You gotta put us through the test again. That was
Absolutely.
one
We
of-
will schedule another Fire Ops 101.
That, it gives, and not only just from the fun aspect, this gives us as, you know, people that are making decisions on these items, a chance to actually see them in person. And honestly, you know, you could go out there, and we give all of our credit to the Livonia Fire, or even police, but to see these what they do in action, it's incredible. So having that opportunity, I think, is wonderful, and it's appreciated. Vice President.
Thank you. You know, this stabilizer that we're talking about, I had the opportunity to talk to the chief about it a little bit, and, you know, a lot of people are gung-ho on EVs, but we don't realize that sometimes these, what might be positive to the environment bring some unique challenges, unintended consequences and challenges, and so the safety of our residents and our first responders, of course, is paramount. But just, I don't think people realize that has created some of this and the extra beams and everything else, so.
Yeah, about 10 to 15 years ago, we ran into the same problem when they started putting high-strength steel into the vehicles. While they made them safer for the individuals that were in the vehicles, and most of the times people could get out of them with a little bit of assistance and they weren't injured as much, it made our tools ineffective because we could no longer cut the A post and B post and pry the doors that we were able to with the tools that we had in previous generation.
So as technology evolves,
Oh, yeah. And
so does
do
the tools we need.
And the innovation that comes right from your department on your leadership is second to none. Again, that's the residents and the millions of people that watch, and right now, you know, we've got the best public safety in general, and it starts at the top with this guy and from the fire side. So we thank you for everything you do.
Can I just jump in real quick?
What's that?
Could I say something?
No? Yes.
I'm all the way there. I just wanted to thank the chief because, you know, again, being new to this, providing us with really detailed information, always being accessible and helping us learn how to do this job better and support you guys. Just really appreciate that extra effort you put in. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
On that, I mean, you did well. Have a great
You did
night,
all right.
Chief.
We'll see you at the next one. Thank you.
Anything from the audience on these lift strut kits, which are awesome? Seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 10, which is a request for council approval on a proposed lot split. This comes to us from the Department of Assessment for the property located south of 8 Mile Road and east of Merriman and just north of Pembroke in the northeast section 2, and to waive the lot width to depth ratio relative to parcel A. Mr. Termina.
Thank you. This is a lot or parcel division request involving a single parcel, which is on Perling Brook. The zoning of the property is RUF, Rural Urban Farm, excuse me, and, which requires a minimum lot area of 15,000 square feet, minimum lot width of 75 feet, and minimum lot depth of 150 feet. There's also a provision that does, that prohibits parcels being created where the depth of the lot exceeds the width by more than 4 times, and that's the reason this item is before you this evening. So this property would be split into 2 parts. Parcel B would be fully conforming. It would measure 100 feet by 240 feet. There is an existing house and outbuilding on that, on parcel B, which would comply with all the setback requirements. It's parcel A, which measures 100 feet along Perling Brook, excuse me, by a depth of 453 feet. That parcel 2 would be sufficiently large at 63,000 square feet. However, because the depth of the lot exceeds its width by more than 4 times, requires this council's approval by at least 5 votes.
Thank you, Mr. Termina. I'm going to go to council, and then I assume, are you the petitioner? You're the petitioner. I'm going to go to council first, but if you want to come up to the podium, Councilman Donovan.
Thanks, Mr. President. Thanks, petitioners, for being here tonight. Mr. Romina, this is kind of like more of an administrative thing, right? I mean, this is more of a state land division act. These are all, to Mr. Tormina, these are all kind of, this has to do with the Land Division Act. These are all kind of interesting parcels back here. It's kind of an odd layout back in this neighborhood, correct?
So it is, it's a provision in the state plat, or the Land Division Act, that applies to all municipalities, and our ordinance references the Land Division Act. So yes, compliance is required by local ordinance to meet the lot width to depth ratio.
Yeah, I'll just say as one council member, I'm okay with it. Again, these are unique. I've looked at the parcel layouts across this community, back in this neighborhood, and it's a unique situation back there. When you actually look in the public record, it kind of already has this layout. I'm okay with it. I think this is more of a clerical thing to make sure that we're not affecting lots in more situated neighborhoods where there's a lot of unique parcels back here if you look up and down this road, and I'm okay with it. But that's just me. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Donovan. I do have one quick question, if I may. You've got Lot B, Lot A. Who owns the property? Would that be the west of it? That little square?
That'd be me.
Okay. What are we doing with it? Nothing. Does it just chill there?
Is it what?
No, I'm just curious if that's yours, but with the lot split, does that, because right now there's no access to it, is there? Or would that be an extension of?
An extension, right?
An extension of A? Is that what it would be?
Well, there's access off of.
Flamingo?
Flamingo too comes back in there,
Okay.
and we're not sure what we're doing with it.
Okay. Like I said, I'm just looking at that. I was just curious.
Right.
That's the only question I do have right now. I'm going to go back to council. If we have any further questions.
All for approving on the regular.
We have an approving on the regular.
Mr. President, I have a
Vice
question.
President.
There's a letter in the file here that says there's some outstanding violations. Have those been paid? Are we up to date?
Yes, I've taken care of that. I've bought several properties in Livonia and fixed them all up, and I've been in the area for probably 40 years, and everything I've bought around there that was run down, I've put new roof, I've fixed them all up, and I still go around there and clean up garbage from people driving around, and, I try to take care of the neighborhood, so.
I have a follow-up question too. What is your reason for the lot split? I mean, why are you looking to do this now?
Well,
What are your plans with the land? Because it says in the application that parcel A would remain vacant. So why split it, I guess, is my question.
Where the house is, right? No, B, or is that?
B is where the house is.
well, actually, the whole reason is he can't take care of it anymore. I'm taking care of it, and I'm gonna see if anybody would be interested in doing anything with it, and, if possibly a builder might wanna do something with it, 'cause I don't wanna pay the taxes on it anymore. I can't afford it, and I've been ill health right now.
All good? Councilwoman Mydzinski.
So as a point of clarification, you know, we're seeing a marking, you know, a map that has, you know, blue and red, and then the square that Council President mentioned. Who currently owns, somebody currently owns the entire rectangle?
I guess I do.
Well, you don't. It's been split, right?
There hasn't been split officially.
Yeah, it has.
If I may, I think we're looking, Mr. Tormina, do we have a lot owner on that last parcel? You know, the last slide you were just on gave a parcel ID number.
Well, it's been split, but they gotta approve it.
Is that part of this, that 19933?
Yeah.
1983.
19831 is this parcel right here. So 19831 exists as a single parcel today that includes.
That's it,
That
okay.
includes both the blue and the red. The
Okay.
Tomnanovich is, excuse me.
So that's someone else's?
They also own this parcel to the west.
Okay.
As well as this sliver that lies just south of 19833. These all have
Gotcha,
addresses,
okay.
but no structures on them.
That makes sense now.
This would remain vacant. They would be able to sell this parcel as a separate building site. This presumably could be used as a separate building site, but because it does
There
have
ha- yeah.
some frontage on a right-of-way, but it doesn't have adequate frontage today to build on this lot. That would require a variance, possibly. I'd have to check with legal counsel, but our review is not involving this parcel today.
Sounds
It
good.
is
That
involving
clears
this.
it up. So, gentlemen, I'm sorry, when we were looking at one of the original signs, it didn't have the plot numbers, so thank you for the clarification on that. That clears up pretty much everything. Councilwoman Budzinski, are you good?
Yes.
Anything further from council? Anything from the audience? Oh, we do have someone from the audience. Come on up. Petitioners, you guys are, unless you have anything else to add, you're pretty good for right now. You do have a approving on regular, so I would, we are going to make sure that those bills have been paid, just to have on record.
I took care of it.
And then May 6th, it will be voted on.
Okay then. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Charles, Charles Hoppola, and I'm right next door to the property you're talking about. And last year, they had it surveyed, and they're actually cutting into my property on that survey. I don't know what they show here, but when he was doing it, he was putting his flags up, and it was coming up behind my barn. There's one flag for the lot line. And I had the plat here that I had when I bought the place. And so I don't know what they propose on the actual lines where it is, but I'm directly north of that property.
I think Mr. Termina is either hacking something or he's trying to get something.
I'm trying to find the actual survey.
I am going to
We've got this,
pause.
Mr. Truman, we got the survey in the
Yeah.
packet, there you go.
Right,
Yeah.
this is the survey that he's referencing.
You got the survey there? Here's my survey on my property, and I can't see that.
Is that a copy of your survey, sir? Can we
It's
keep?
not a copy, but it's my original. Can we get a
All
copy?
right, yeah, I don't want to take that.
Can we get a copy made here? My printer wouldn't work today, so.
To either Mr. Tormina or their city engineer, Mr. Zelinsik,
It's a mortgage certificate.
mortgage certificate, okay, it's not a survey.
Gotcha.
Would this be more of a internal thing between the two
Certificate.
petitioners? Because now you're starting to get into discrepancies of where the lot line is, and, because from our perspective as a council member, we're looking at a land survey that's marked by a registered land surveyor, so we can only make decisions on that. I think, and I don't want to speak for anybody else, but if there's a
Well,
conflict.
This was surveyed because this piece that I bought was part of that whole section.
I understand, I'm
4
saying we
acres.
can't litigate now, right here, between whose survey is correct and whose survey isn't.
Yeah, but what happens if mine is right and theirs?
I'm not
I
in a
mean,
position to
I've
give
been there-
legal advice,
I've been
so.
there since 1970.
Yeah, we can get legal interpretation, but I think it's a private matter, if I'm correct. It would be a private matter.
What do you mean private matter? I
Well,
don't
it'd be-
understand that.
In
I'm here
theory,
because it's next to my
know.
property, and I saw the guy surveying, and he put his post up, not on my property. I mean, on my property.
no, and what we're trying to say is obviously there needs to be some clarification, but with the item that's basically before us, we're just approving the lot split basically to this survey. So I don't know the course of
You see
action.
is mine on there at all, or is it part of mine showing on there?
It is not. It's just showing the exact parcel on that. So listen, we have a few weeks before the next meeting. It's not till May 6th. It's almost 3 weeks away. And I'm sure that with Mr. Tormina and Mr. Zelinsik, you know, if you've got questions to burn off it, that is a mortgage survey rather than a
It's a
official
mortgage
survey.
survey, but it's a survey that they
Sure.
did
Mr.
for me
Zelinsik?
buying the property.
My suggestion is he's concerned about the fact that he believes the survey is wrong, that he should hire a company that's registered surveyor to go survey it and confirm that his
Thank you.
intuition. That to me, again, it's a legal matter between property owners. I'm sure, I'm not sure who did the survey, but they stamp it, they have to be registered, a land surveyor. And I would recommend mortgage surveys, just like anything else, just a basic survey to show exactly where your property's at. It doesn't mean it's a registered surveyor, so recommend that he hires a company, always get 3 quotes, get the survey, and he can confirm that that's where it's at. Especially if he's talking about a shed or barn or something like that. Again, there may be some issues that they need to resolve, obviously, and it's better to find out now before
Exactly.
moving forward. Thank you.
Mr. Zelinsik. So
I got a question. If that's the case, when I go out buy a property and they do a survey for the mortgage, and this is what it is, this is my property. But now we're saying it couldn't be my property, maybe it isn't my property?
sir, and it's just one of those
I've been there
things.
since 1970.
No, absolutely. I just think that what Mr. Zelinsik was saying is that mortgage surveys are not as in-depth as a certified land surveyor to come out.
Well, it shows exactly where they got the points
Yeah.
from and all this stuff on here.
And I would take his recommendation on that matter to hire,
I
you know.
have to hire somebody to, this seems kind of strange to me. Because I don't know,
Sir,
I
that's-
don't know what he's got there, because I don't have that. Is there a possibility I can get a copy of that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's public information.
Well, how do I get
It's on
that?
the city website, sir.
Right on the city website. Sir, if you
Website.
could, I don't know, is there a communication card right up on the dais anywhere?
Right
If
here,
not,
Office of Council.
yes.
Oh,
So
that one there.
if you could, contact tomorrow and reach out to Sarah, and we'll make sure you get a copy of this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other audience communication on this matter? Seeing none. Right now, we do have an approving on regular. Again, May 6th will be the vote. And with that, we are now going to move on to item number 11, which is a request for council approval on the proposed lot split. This comes to us from the Department of Assessment for the property located north of 7 Mile on the west side of Newburgh Road. This is going to be section 6, and it's a waive the lot depth and lot area for both proposed parcel 1 and parcel 2. Mr. Tormina.
Thank you. This is a double frontage lot. Again, it's zoned RUF, rural urban farm, requiring a minimum lot area of 15,000 square feet, lot dimensions of 75 feet in width by 150 feet in depth. So when we say double frontage, it means it has frontage both on, in this case, on Newburgh Road on the east side, and then on Bethany Road to the west side. This is a single parcel currently. The proposal is to split the property into 2 equal parts, parcels 1 and parcel 2. Parcel 1 has the existing house and garage that would remain. That would be, the lot dimensions in that case would be 90 feet by 125 feet. Parcel 2, the lot that would have frontage on Bethany would have equal dimensions of 90 feet by 125 feet. In that case, the lot area becomes 11,250 square feet per parcel, which is shy of the 15,000 square feet required by the RUF district. The lot width is compliant at 90 feet. However, the minimum lot depth, which is supposed to be 150 feet, they're shy here by 25 feet, as both of these parcels would be 125 feet in width. And you can see how this lot relates to the surrounding area. There are other parcels in the immediate area that have somewhat similar depths, kind of an assortment of dimensions, I would say. I'll go back out and show you from a different perspective what some of the other lots in the area look like.
Mr. President?
Mr. Donovan?
Thanks, Mr. President. Mr. Romina, would it make more sense to just rezone these as opposed to, because the petitioner is now going to have to go through ZBA variance? I'm just wondering the thought process, and maybe that's a question for the petitioner as opposed to the planner. Just kind of curious.
You know, the problem with the rezoning is because, you know, it would be a very selective area that would be affected by a change of zoning. And, you know, if you did that, you might want to take a look at a wider area, and that then raises additional issues of whether or not that's an appropriate course of action. Could allow for further divisions of those other properties that we don't, you know, that might not be consistent with the surrounding area. So I would not recommend, you know, a zoning change on these properties. It's probably to look at this on a, you know, on a case-by-case basis and determine whether or not you think it would be appropriate to split the property in the manner that they're showing.
Yeah, and with that case-by-case basis, I mean, this is the thing, we need more available housing in our communities. With this less and less land is available. God's not making any more land, and we have to work with what we got. And we're talking a few feet here. It's a beautiful neighborhood back here. You look at the lot lines. I think it's these are wide lots, 90-foot wide lots. I could understand maybe if we're going from a 90 to 60 or 50, I would not be in support. But we're talking about an imaginary line in the backyard. I'm okay with that. I think it makes sense, and it's only deficient a few feet. To the petitioner, you'd be keeping the existing garage, a detached garage back there?
We would like to, yes.
Okay, so again, to the naked eye, it's gonna look the same as it always has been, and I assume you'd be building something back there off of Bethany Street. Beautiful area, and I think it makes sense. Thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Donovan. Council, anything further? Vice President?
Thank you. Through the chair to the petitioner. What is your intended purpose?
Yes.
At the split?
Good evening. So intended purpose, my parents have lived there, so my name's Andone, I'm here representing my parents. It's their property. We've lived there for 20 plus years. Splitting the lot has been a conversation we've had a few times. Prideful parents, they love their property, haven't wanted to split it. Long story short, they're getting a little bit older. Upkeeping of the property is a little bit more difficult. We would like to build a property back there. The final plan, we haven't finalized, but we're hoping a family member moves back there, possibly my brother, to help with the upkeeping of the home and help with my parents as they get older.
Okay. Have you discussed the possibility of building another residence with your neighbors that surround this property?
We're pretty close with the neighborhood. They're aware of the plans, and no one said anything to us.
So no objections? from the
Not
neighbors?
that we've heard,
Okay.
which is why we're going through the process.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Councilman Donovan?
Mr. President, I'll offer an approving for the regular, please.
We have an approving on regular. Anything further from council? Seeing none. Anything from the audience? Seeing none. So we do have an approving for regular. It would be important to try to be here for May 6th. It'll be on the agenda item, and we'll take a vote on it. But thank you for joining us this evening.
Yeah. Thank you, Council.
All right, we're going to move on to item number 12, which is a request for the authorization to purchase one transit van, 250 high roof cargo van utilizing the State of Michigan and Macomb County Consortium bid pricing. This comes to us from the Public Works Department to replace the current van from budget fund. Mr. Moore, good evening.
Evening, Council. Doug Moore with Department of Public Works. Council, Public Works is asking your approval to purchase one F-250 high-top transit van. It's going to be used in the water and sewer section, purchased through the state bid from Longhammer Ford and Owasso. The purchase amount is $51,358. We will come back to you at a later date with the upfitting cost. We currently don't have the pricing on that yet. And the unit that's being replaced is going to be disposed of through the process.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Council? Council? Council?
I can take it if you want.
Vice President?
Sorry, I was deferring. I thought one of my colleagues was taking it. You know, I was just giving them a chance. No, I read through this, and this obviously looks like something we need, so I'll offer it approving on consent if there are no objections.
I'm not going to ask if anybody even has any further comments on this.
Sorry.
Anything else from the audience? Seeing none? Mr. Moore, you have an approving on consent on item number 12, and let's take us home. Item
Thank
number
you, Counsel.
13. Oh, item 13 is not yours. It's Mr. Zelinski that's going to take us home.
This way.
Item number 13 is an award of contract from the engineering division for the 2024 pavement joint and crack sealing program. This is contract 24-D. Mr. Zelinski.
Good evening, City Council President, council members. It's a tough act to follow, but you always say the best for last, of course,
Yeah, absolutely.
engineering. So this one's an easy one, as you all know. We go out every year to help prolong the pavement life. We go out and do some crack sealing, overband, and hot pour rubber with some other stuff. But again, each year, typically there's two vendors out there, Scadeller and Michigan Joint Sealing. So we went out for bids, and there was two bidders came in, Michigan Joint at $168,805 and Scadeller at $205,990. So we're asking City Council approval to actually up our game to go up to $250,000, so we can go and do some additional work as needed since we got such good bids, and again, help prolong the pavement life in the amount, again, of $250,000, seeking your approval of $200,000 going to your local roads and $50,000 going to your major roads. So if any further questions, I'll be happy to answer those. And again, we look to get that done this summer before leaf season starts. Everything's all back in order for the winter
Don't say that.
months.
Don't do it. Don't do
So,
it.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zelinski. Vice President.
Thank you. I won't keep us in suspense this time. So this is obviously a needed project that needs to happen. It needs to happen right away. So I'll offer an approving on consent.
Anything further from council? Seeing none. Anything from the audience? Seeing none. We've been approving on consent. So that concludes our study agenda. I'm going to now go back to the audience for any items that are not on the agenda. Seeing none, I'm going to go back to council. Seeing none, I'm going to say go Red Wings. I don't know what the score is, and I'm nervous, but we'll go from there. Good night. I can safely show 4, right?
Motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to offer, do we make motions for that, for a study?
No, we can't. It's a safely show 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. Hang on. Did we just stump the city attorney? Booyah. Let's go.